All right, so you want to know how AI could shake up the world of invention? Well, strap in, because we're diving deep into this.
We've got some really interesting sources for this one.
We do, and we're going to be focusing especially on an article by Noel Anderson.
Oh, yeah. He's got, like, over 200 patents to his name.
He does. He's super prolific.
Yeah.
And he's really wrestling with this question, will AI replace inventors?
It's a big one.
It is.
Yeah.
And I love that he starts with something so basic. Like, what even is an invention?
Right. Got to start with the foundation.
You do.
He breaks down those 3 key criteria for getting something patented, right?
He does, yeah.
So, patentable subject matter.
Like, it's got to be, a process or a gadget or a thing.
Right.
Or a new kind of plant.
Exactly. And then it's got to be novel, which seems pretty obvious.
Yeah. It's got to be new.
Yeah. And then there's this thing, non-obviousness.
Ooh, yeah. That one's kind of tricky.
It is.
Like, how do you explain that?
So basically it means that a regular person...
Even a really smart one, right?
Yeah, even a super smart person wouldn't just come up with this idea.
On their own, just looking at what's already out there.
Yeah, like if you hand them all the pieces.
They wouldn't think to put them together this way.
Right.
It's got to be like that aha moment.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, wow, how did no one think of this before?
Exactly. Like that spark of inventive genius.
Totally. And there's actually some debate about this. Like, can AI be an inventor, legally speaking?
Oh, yeah, that's a whole other can of worms.
Right.
But as it stands right now, at least globally, patent law says no. Inventors got to be human.
Interesting. So back to Anderson. He uses this really cool story from his own life to make this point about invention.
Oh, yeah, the digital twin thing.
Yeah, he came up with the idea for this digital twin
Of the colon.
Colon.
While he was driving home from a doctor's appointment.
I know, I love that. Yeah. So just for anyone listening who's not familiar, a digital twin is basically...
Like a virtual model.
Yeah. It's this super detailed digital model of something.
Yeah, and in this case, it would mean...
Potentially fewer colonoscopies.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Right, because doctors could use the model to do, like, checkups and monitoring.
Instead of having to, go back in there all the time.
Yeah. But the point he's making is it wasn't some fancy algorithm.
That spat out this idea, right?
It was a very human experience, like having a need, having to go to the doctor.
Reflecting on it.
Yeah.
And then, bam, there's the idea.
That spark.
That's so interesting.
It is. It really makes you think about how much human observation...
Tied to our own experiences.
Yeah. ...is a part of invention. And it makes you wonder, can AI really do that?
Right, because it doesn't have those lived experiences.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what Anderson really digs into.
He does.
Like, can AI think the way an inventor thinks? And then he gets into some of the computational limits of AI.
Like, it's not just about having enough processing power.
Right. And I appreciate that he doesn't get super technical with it, but he makes this point.
About AI having to take shortcuts?
Yeah. Because sometimes calculating the absolute best solution, it would take forever.
Like it's not practical.
It's not. And he compares it to picking the fastest checkout line at the grocery store.
Oh, I love that analogy.
Right.
It's so true.
You don't have time to, like, analyze everyone's cart.
You just got to go with your gut sometimes.
Yeah, you go with the one that looks the shortest.
Even though it might backfire.
It might. But for AI, even with all this incredible power, they still have these limits.
And some problems are just so complex.
Yeah.
It would take an insane amount of time to actually calculate that perfect solution.
So we're seeing these practical limits to how fast AI can solve problems.
Even with supercomputers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. But Anderson goes even further. He starts talking about philosophical limits of AI.
Oh, that gets really interesting.
He does.
It does.
He's asking these huge questions like, can AI actually replicate the human mind?
And can it grasp that lived human experience?
Yeah, in a way that lets it recognize problems that need solving.
Yeah, the ones that aren't obvious. The
Yeah.
unspoken needs.
And his example here is so good. He talks about a robot checking into a hotel room.
Oh, yeah, the one where it's sweltering hot.
And it's sweltering.
But the robot doesn't feel uncomfortable the way a human would.
So it wouldn't even realize that there's a problem.
It wouldn't even register it.
It's just like, okay, this is the temperature.
Yeah.
Whereas a human would be like, oh, this is awful. I need to invent a better thermostat.
Exactly.
Right.
It highlights how much our subjective experience as humans informs how we see problems.
Absolutely. So it's this really key question. Even if AI can crunch all this data, find all these patterns, can it actually grasp those deeper, more human aspects of invention?
Can it see what we see?
Yeah. And that's what we're going to keep unpacking.
And that leads us to Anderson's conclusion. AI won't replace inventors entirely anytime soon, but it will drastically change the way invention happens.
So he's not saying like AI is a threat.
No.
But that it's more like this powerful tool that's going to transform how we invent things.
Exactly. Yeah. And this is what I find so exciting about Anderson's take, his vision of AI-assisted invention.
Okay, so paint us a picture here. What does that actually look like?
Well, imagine you've got this superpowered research assistant by your side, one that can analyze mountains of data research papers, patents in the blink of an eye. That's what AI can bring to the invention process.
So it's like AI could help inventors brainstorm solutions.
Exactly.
By pointing them towards promising directions they might have missed.
Right. It can analyze all that information and say, hey, you know what? You might want to look over here. There's something interesting going on in this area.
That's cool. And it goes even beyond brainstorming.
Oh, yeah. Way beyond. AI can actually help draft patent applications. It can find relevant prior art, making sure the invention is truly novel.
Oh, that's huge. Especially that prior art search. That can be such a pain.
Oh, it can be a nightmare. It can take forever.
Yeah.
And AI can handle that stuff with speed and accuracy that humans just can't match.
I can see that. And then there's what you were saying about simulation.
Oh, yeah.
AI being able to simulate how a design will perform.
Imagine being able to test out a bunch of different prototypes virtually before you even build a physical model.
Oh, that would be a game changer. Especially for fields like engineering or product design.
Absolutely. It could drastically reduce the cost and the time it takes to bring a new invention to market.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about something you said earlier about AI enhancing human creativity.
Oh, yeah.
I'm having a little trouble wrapping my head around that. How can AI make us more creative?
Well, think about it this way. AI can analyze massive amounts of data about consumer trends, market needs, emerging technologies, right?
Yeah.
It can identify patterns or connections that we humans might not even be aware of.
Oh, okay. So it can see the bigger picture.
Exactly. And those insights can spark entirely new ideas and invention categories.
So it's like AI can help us see the problems that need solving problems we didn't even know we had.
It's like having a whole new set of lenses to view the world through. And then on top of that, AI can also help us explore different combinations of existing technologies and ideas, leading to novel solutions.
It really does feel like the possibilities are endless when you combine human ingenuity with the power of AI.
It's a pretty amazing time to be an inventor, I think. But you know, this whole conversation keeps bringing me back to something Anderson emphasized.
What's that?
The importance of seeing both the problem and the solution.
Ah, yeah. How does that human element fit into this world of AI-assisted invention?
Well, Anderson's point is that even with all the potential of AI, it's still humans who ultimately need to define the problems we want to solve and the goals we want to achieve.
Right, so we're still the ones steering the ship.
Exactly. We provide the vision and direction.
It's like AI might be the paintbrush, but we're still the artist choosing what to paint and how to express ourselves.
I love that analogy. It really captures the essence of this collaboration. AI might enhance our palette and give us new techniques, but it's our human creativity and insight that guide the process.
And that's what makes this future of invention so exciting. It's not about AI taking over.
Right.
It's about humans and machines working together.
To push the boundaries of what's possible.
Exactly. It's about amplifying human potential, not replacing it. And that's why I'm so optimistic about this new era of AI-assisted invention.
Me too. It feels like we're on the cusp of something truly transformative.
We do. But, you know, as with any powerful tool, there are always potential downsides.
You're absolutely right. And that's something we can't shy away from discussing.
I'm glad you brought that up. I think it's important to acknowledge both the incredible potential and the potential challenges that come with AI.
And that's precisely what we'll do in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay.
We'll explore some of the potential challenges of AI-assisted invention.
Right.
And consider how we can navigate those challenges responsibly.
That sounds like a crucial conversation. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on that. So we've been painting this pretty exciting picture of AI teaming up with human inventors, but I think it's time to address the elephant in the room. What are some of those potential downsides we need to be thinking about?
Yeah, we got to be realistic, right? I think one of the biggest concerns with AI-assisted invention is this whole question of control and ownership.
What do you mean by that?
Well, if AI is playing a major role in the invention process, it raises questions about who actually owns the intellectual property.
Oh, yeah.
Like, is it the person who programmed the AI?
Right.
Is it the person who provided all the data it learned from? Or is it the AI itself?
Whoa, yeah, that gets really tricky. It's like if an AI helps me invent some new gadget, do I actually own it? Or does the company that created the AI have some claim to it?
Exactly. And it gets even more complicated because sometimes AI comes up with solutions that even its creators don't fully understand.
Yep.
Like if it's truly generating novel ideas, how do we determine who gets the credit? Who profits from it?
That is kind of mind-blowing and a little unsettling. It
Yeah.
sounds like we might need to totally rethink our whole concept of intellectual property and ownership in this age of AI.
We might need some brand new legal frameworks and ethical guidelines to navigate this.
Yeah, brand new territory for sure. And what about accessibility? If AI-assisted invention becomes the norm, it seems like it could create a divide between those who have access to these powerful tools and those who don't.
Oh, absolutely. That's a huge concern. It could definitely exacerbate existing inequalities where only the big players, the large corporations or well-funded institutions, can actually afford to use AI for invention.
So we could end up with this like invention elite.
Yeah.
And that's not what we want.
Yeah.
Right. We want AI to level the playing field.
Exactly. We want it to empower more people to become inventors.
Yeah, make invention more accessible.
Exactly. And then finally, I think it's important to remember that AI is just a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or bad.
Oh, yeah. It's not inherently good or evil.
Right. We need to be very mindful of the potential for AI to be used to create inventions that are actually harmful or unethical.
It's like just because we can invent something doesn't mean we should.
Exactly. We need to think through those consequences.
And make sure we're not creating more problems than we're solving.
Right. We need strong ethical frameworks in place
to guide the development and the deployment of these AI-powered inventions.
I think that's a perfect place to wrap up our deep dive. We need to approach this whole idea of AI-assisted invention with a sense of wonder, but also with a healthy dose of caution.
Yeah, a sense of responsibility.
Absolutely. Embrace the potential, but be vigilant about the risks.
Mm.
Make sure we're using this powerful technology in a way that benefits all of humanity.
That's a great takeaway. So to sum it all up, it seems like the future of invention is this incredible collaboration between human ingenuity and AI's capabilities.
And as we move forward into this uncharted territory, the most important thing is to stay curious, thoughtful, and engaged. Keep asking questions, explore the possibilities, and make sure we're shaping this technology to create a future that we can all be proud of.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.
My pleasure.
And to you, dear listener, keep those innovative sparks flying. Who knows what amazing inventions await us in the future?